What's up, everybody? Welcome to my review of the Meteor Hammer by Yikun Discs. Big thank you to Yikun for sending me this thing to test and review, along with a bunch of other great plastic that I've been working my way through here on the channel. So stay tuned if you're interested in more of this stuff. I definitely have some other ones to show you. This one is in the tortoise plastic, which means it is an overmold. So let's take a look at it. Really rad stamp. I dig it quite a bit. I like the artwork there. This little insignia here is for the tortoise plastic. Here are your flight numbers, 2300, and I think those are spot on. Looking at this disc, it's got a pretty flat top to it, and here you can see the overmold process. So it's got like a rubbery overmold on the outer edge here, and I guess they kind of leave these little parts protruding to help hold the overmold on. I'm not exactly sure. You can also see right there, there's a couple of little points underneath. Hopefully you can see. There they are right there, where the overmold kind of comes through. I don't know if that's part of the injection process, but it's completely undetectable. It's not something you're going to notice in your grip at all, which I like a lot. Here is some weight sticker there. I have not tested it to make sure that's true. And also we'll say YikunDiscs.com, Meteor Hammer, and then there's the Yikun logo on the bottom as well. And on the outside it says PDGA approved, Meteor Hammer, which I like that. Shell plastic, I think. So yeah, I think it's called like tortoise plastic or tortoise shell plastic, meaning that's, you know, the two different plastics together. And it's got a nice feel in the hand for sure. The interior plastic feels a little bit more like a rigid premium plastic. It doesn't feel baseline. It's got a little gloss to it, and it's pretty firm. Doesn't have much flex to it, but it still feels good in the hand. It's got a little bit of grip to it, and then the outer edge is somewhat more rubbery, but it's a comfortable disc in the hand overall for sure. No problems there. Definitely flat across the top. Here's your look at the rim profile. It is quite rounded and soft. No real sharp edges going on there. This particular part of the underside where the main plastic kind of protrudes out the bottom is nice and soft and feels really comfortable. I like the feel of this disc quite a bit. Definitely no problems there. Let's put it up next to some other things, as I like to do. This is a JK AVR, Ricky Stamp JK AVR. Similar, other than the bead, I would say. They're somewhat similar other than that. The little shoulder is a little different, but of course there's going to always be some differences there. I also have beadless putter here, the Roach by Discraft. Also not hugely different, I would say. Not a giant difference there. I wish I had a Nova to put this next to, but I unfortunately don't, because this disc kind of evokes the Nova with its vibe overall. You know, it's a kind of a flat top, a little bit stiffer feel to the main plastic with a grippy overmold outer edge. Definitely has a similar vibe to it. But I will say for sure I think this disc feels better in the hand. I think it's got a better design in terms of the way the overmold sits. It doesn't have those weird kind of like nubs on the inside that a Nova does. And it just feels a little bit more solid for whatever reason. I haven't tested a Nova in many years since they came out, so you know, take that with a grain of salt, but I remember them feeling kind of wonky, like almost like I think I said in the original review, it felt like a toy almost. Like it's just a real kind of weird disc, but once you start throwing it, you see the benefits. The Meteor Hammer feels good, and as you're going to see here, it flies really good too, and it's a very similar vibe. It's one of those discs that you can kind of just throw on a gentle hyzer, let it tick up flat, and it will just laser on a perfectly smooth, straight, flat line all the way. No real fade. It has natural turn to it. Like if you throw it flat and hard, it'll roll over on you. For sure, you have to finesse it a little bit. I would probably say 2-3 -1-0 maybe. It's got a little bit of turn to it. For me and James, we like to start it on a little hyzer and let it pop up and go, but once you do that, it's a really smooth, straight line flyer. You can kind of throw it on hyzer and hit it a little harder, and it'll roll over and turn as well, which is nice. You can just throw it on a soft turn as on approach or anything like that, and it's a really great point and shoot disc. The only thing it really doesn't do super well is hyzer. You're not going to want to throw like a steep hyzer with this disc because it's such a straight flyer. It kind of wants to get flat on you, which is a great attribute for a lot of players looking for a straight line throwing putter and approach disc. Inside the circle, it's very straight and point and shoot for the bat, for putting as well. But I honestly didn't test it a lot for that because I feel like it's more designed for throwing and approaching. But if you wanted to use it inside the circle, aim it straight at the basket and it's good to go. It'll just fly flat and straight right into the basket and not have much veering one way or the other. It doesn't fade hardly at all, and it doesn't have a lot of natural turn from a putt. But it seemed to like a little bit of a hyzer angle and let it kind of flip up and go, but it's a real straight flyer that I think a lot of players could really enjoy, especially for beginners and lower arm speed players. This could be a really solid approach disc. I think you guys will like quite a bit. But even for a little bit more advanced players like James, he was able to control it and throw it on a really nice straight line. That is my review on Meteor Hammer. Thank you so much once again to Yikun Discs for sending me this thing to check out. Thanks to all you guys for watching, and I'll check you later. Cheers. Thank you so much for watching, and big thank you to all of my Patreon supporters. If you would like to see your name listed in the credits of all of my videos, go to patreon.com/discgolfnerd.